Right now at 5, Verona police are looking for suspects after thieves stole construction equipment from the Epic campus. We'll give you a closer look at photos of the suspects. Also, as we begin our final 40-day stretch to Election Day, we see new polls every day. Today, a look behind the scenes at how they work and how we should interpret them. And we're following along Hurricane Helene churning in the Gulf, gaining power as it moves closer to a Florida landfall. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Well, take a look at your screen. Police in Verona say these two men in these pictures went to the Epic campus and stole from the construction site there. The suspects, we are told, drove onto the campus with this white Ford truck about 10:30 on Saturday night. Police say they then damaged some property and stole thousands of dollars worth of tools. Plates on the truck were removed before the burglaries, and officers say the truck could be connected with an unknown construction site as well in downtown Madison. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Verona Police Department. In Madison, police are investigating after someone reported a body in Lake Monona. We have limited details at the moment, but we know it was found yesterday on West Shore Drive, just a block away from SSM Health St. Mary's Hospital. Now, police have not said whether foul play was involved or any possible causes. Stay with us here on channel3000.com for this developing story. A teen in Reedsburg is in police custody and joins a list of nearly 150 people now who have directly made or posted threats to school safety online. Reedsburg Police Chief Patrick Cummings said his department was notified of a social media post yesterday with a threat to Reedsburg's school safety. Following an investigation, officers arrested a 17-year-old before the start of school today. That teen is now being held at the Sauk County Jail. Their name has not been released. Well, at this hour, all eyes are on the Gulf of Mexico, where warm seas are feeding Hurricane Helene, which is now a powerful Category 3 hurricane with its sights set on Florida's Big Bend area. That's just south of Tallahassee for landfall in the coming hours. And check this out. This is a look at new video from NASA showing us what Hurricane Helene looks like from space. It's all that white area there, and now a dangerous Cat 3 hurricane, as we said, making its way toward the Panhandle. Our chief meteorologist Alex Harrington joining us now with a closer look at Helene and maybe on the delays that travelers out of Madison may run into as a result of this storm. Alex?
Absolutely. A lot of times folks, and not all in all cases here in Wisconsin are folks thinking this way, but it's not uncommon to, well, this is down in Florida. It's not going to impact us here in Wisconsin. One major impact anywhere in the United States and in the world for that matter is the impact on a major hurricane on travel. And here, even radar 3000, we can track Hurricane Helene here. That's about 100 miles due west of Tampa. Winds now clocked at sustained 125 miles per hour on its way towards the northeast. Additional rapid intensification is still possible because this area of the eastern Gulf of Mexico is just a lukewarm bath, and that's what hurricanes feed off of as a heat engine. So additional strengthening is certainly not out of the question. Travel impacts from Jacksonville up towards Atlanta, up into the Carolinas. We could be looking at major impacts with travel throughout the course of the rest of Thursday evening going on into Friday. And remember, there's a ripple effect to this. Travel impacts in the southeast U.S. impact travel for the rest of the United States as well. Helene comes inland. Those major impacts move up into the southern Appalachians, over portions of the mid-Mississippi River Valley, the Ohio River Valley, and it hangs out there through much of Friday. Eventually, as we get a little bit later into Friday going on into Saturday, we'll start to see some improvements in our travel forecast for the eastern two-thirds of the country. We got 78 degrees, nothing adverse about our weather. It's beautiful out there. Planning through the rest of the evening, temperatures will dip down into the 60s. Overnight lows in the lower 50s, but with Helene moving to the northwest, will any of the clouds and showers or any other impacts get southern Wisconsin? I'll let you know coming up.
Alex, thank you. And next at 5, political polls become more and more common, of course, during an election year. But how do you know if they're trustworthy, and where do they even come from? Our Ellie LaLiberte joins us now with a look behind the scenes of political polling.
We've shown you all of these headlines before, but what do polling numbers mean and how do they get to you? I spoke with the director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, today about what goes on behind the scenes. For the past 12 years, Charles Franklin has been crunching the numbers.
59%.
And during election year, his job gets pretty busy.
We again try to decide what's the most meaningful, most relevant, most telling about what's going on and focus on those. And so we do that analysis here on the computer, and then we write it up.
As a pollster, he looks closely at the way questions are worded and weighs different demographics' responses. This helps make sure that the data is as close of a representation to registered voters as it can be.
We try to write questions that are as flat and neutral as we know how to write them. If we kept changing the wording of the question every time, we'd never be able to compare apples to apples.
According to 538, a polling ranking system, the Marquette Law School poll is the third best in the nation, but it ranks #1 for transparency, showing you how they did it and where the information came from.
If we are here to provide public information, it just made sense from the very beginning to make that as completely public and transparent as we could.
With all the work that goes into getting you the numbers about issues and candidates, Franklin has some tips on how to understand what it all means.
You can get overwhelmed by trying to keep up with the polls, by wondering which one is right and which one's wrong.
He says looking at multiple polls can give you a feel for a consensus.
Are they all pretty close to one another? Do they range quite a bit? Do they show one candidate leading but by different amounts, or do they show both candidates leading in one poll or another?
Ultimately, he says to look at polls for what they can say about people who may not agree with you.
Take it for what it's worth. And in the end, polls don't vote, people do.
The Marquette Law School poll is set to release its next survey on October 2nd. It looks at the race between Vice President Harris and former President Trump as the campaign enters the final month. It also surveys voters on issues that are important to them.
Ellie, thank you. And Wisconsin, of course, continues to be a major stopping point for candidates and their surrogates trying to shore up their swing state advantage. Tomorrow, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York will be somewhere in downtown Madison for a rally supporting the Harris-Walz ticket. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer will also be campaigning for Vice President Harris and Tim Walz in Green Bay. That's set for Saturday. And former President Donald Trump will be in Prairie du Chien on Saturday as well. Well, the mayor in Wausau is facing some scrutiny and an investigation after removing an absentee ballot drop box outside City Hall. Reporter Sabrina Lee spoke with Wausau Mayor Doug Dinney, who says he didn't do anything wrong.
If it would have been bolted down, that would have been a completely different story if I would have unbolted it.
Wausau Mayor Doug Dinney says he was doing some work at the office on Sunday when he claims to have noticed the ballot drop box, which sits on the corner by the handicap accessibility ramp outside City Hall, was not properly secured.
You would think bolting it to the ground would be an appropriate thing before we send ballots out that says it's ready to go. But for all I know, and all anyone knows, that could have been in the river. It was not bolted down.
With ballots sent out to voters last week, he decided to take matters into his own hands.
I went in and got a cart and I wheeled it up to my office. So I put it in a safe place, and there it sits.
This comes after the city of Wausau decided not to put out ballot boxes for the August primary election last month. The Wisconsin State Supreme Court ruled in July that absentee ballot drop boxes were legal, and sole discretion of the placement and removal of the ballot boxes lies with the municipal clerk. For the city of Wausau, that means the only person who can dictate where the ballot box goes at any given time is City Clerk Caitlin Bernardi. But Mayor Dinney says he hasn't spoken with Bernardi about the incident yet.
I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet. She's been busy, I've been busy, so we haven't, believe it or not, since last Thursday, haven't talked to her about this issue.
City residents gathering in front of City Hall on Tuesday to say enough.
As voters, our voices are being silenced.
They say Dinney's handling of the box is wrong.
It's not within his purview or his in his job description to be that involved with the voting.
And as voters, they deserve better.
And I feel it undermines our elections. It undermines the voters. It's not giving people a chance to have an accessible way of voting. It should be made easier, not being made more difficult.
They hope to see the ballot box restored so that everyone may have their voices heard.
And the Marathon County District Attorney says she is pursuing an investigation with the help of the Wisconsin Department of Justice. Well, the standard 30-year fixed mortgage is now at its lowest level in 2 years. The average rate reached 6.08% this week, according to mortgage financing provider Freddie Mac. Mortgage rates have been steadily dropping since the springtime. Application numbers indicate Americans are taking advantage of falling rates. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, applications to refinance a mortgage soared 20% just last week from the week before. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is reminding hunters to test their deer for chronic wasting wasting disease this fall. CWD is a contagious fatal disease that affects deer, elk, moose, and caribou. The DNR offers self-service kiosks to drop off deer heads to test, as well as lymph node extraction kits for those hoping to take their deer to the taxidermist. Chronic wasting disease is almost impossible to see in the first year, but signs do start to show up.
Drooping ears, drooling. We've seen deer, one that was tested, so we knew it was positive, that was visiting a landowner's water bath. So sometimes, for birds, so sometimes we'll see that where they're trying to seek out water.
And she added that in the later stage of the disease, the animal may become increasingly lethargic and not behave normally, even being unafraid of humans. If your animal tests positive for CWD, you will have to get a replacement tag authorization that is not weapon specific and is valid for this and next year's hunting seasons. COVID-19 cases are trending downward compared to years past, but experts worry about a spike in cases this winter as everyone heads indoors. The federal government is once again offering free COVID tests for every American household. Once your order is placed, the Postal Service will ship kits directly to your home. Each household is limited to up to 4 test kits and will start being shipped out next week. This can help you save some money, where 2 over-the-counter tests could cost you roughly $20. Still to come, Alex returns, a look at Helene and his complete First Warn forecast as we head for the weekend, and some numbers that won't surprise you. How much it costs to live in Madison compared to other places. We'll look at the findings from a new survey. And a check of the markets in Thursday trading. The Dow surges more than 260 points. The NASDAQ adds 108. S&P 500 up 23. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, brought to you by Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning.
Get an 11% rebate on everything for your next project now at Menards. Check out our huge in-stock selection of Masterforce outdoor power equipment. Use one battery that works for all Masterforce 80-volt tools to ensure that you keep your projects moving. Like this powerful 20-inch 80-volt cordless chainsaw. It features a brushless motor for maximum power and performance. Pick it up today for just $379.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Think Sloan's first.
You know, the big thing about Sloan's is the ease of doing business. They make everything simple. We choose Sloan's and John Deere because we have availability of equipment, quality service, quality parts, and they have the ability to keep us up and running.
Gear up for fall savings time is on now at Sloan Implement. Get your John Deere Z530M with 1.9% for 36 months. Includes your 54-inch mowing deck.
Power up with Sloan's. Think Sloan's first.
Gas, groceries, school supplies, everything costs more. Eggs are almost twice as much as they were 4 years ago. Biden, Harris, and the Democrats keep telling us things are better. They aren't better. And Tammy Baldwin is making it worse. Raising taxes, running up debt, voting for spending that's driving inflation. 25 years in Washington and she's done nothing. It's time for a change.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Career politicians like Peter Barca will say anything to get elected. His latest negative ad against Brian Style, it's been called blatantly false. The truth, Style has always supported IVF. He co-sponsored a resolution supporting IVF. And Style backs legislation to help families afford IVF. Peter Barca can sling mud, but we deserve better than just another lying career politician.
I'm Brian Style, and I approve this message.
I'm Joan Balwig, and these days the cost to make Great-Grandma Balwig's Blue Ribbon banana bread is, well, just nuts. Wisconsin families are feeling the pinch of inflation, even on the basics. That's why I work to put dough back in your pockets. Led the effort to defend our family farms and pass the biggest tax cut in state history, because the only way to make life affordable again is to do what banana bread does and bring everyone to the table.
In a Class 3 casino, you're playing against the house, so there's no guarantee a player has to win, ever. And in a Class 2 casino, the players play against each other, and not the house. So someone always wins.
So you're saying... He's saying if you want to win at something, you have to go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, a Class 2 casino where someone has to win.
How about this then?
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Bills in Madison are about 13% higher than the national average. That's according to Doxo, a bill payment company. Their data shows the average total home payment, $2,100 a month, where Madison residents pay $2,405 a month. Typical mortgage payments, this is just the mortgage, in the city are about $1,769, and rent averages roughly $1,300. Other factors that Doxo considered are auto loans, utilities, insurance payments, and internet costs. Good news, though, on the whole, the statewide, has 4% lower bills and averages about $2,034 per month. All right, you're taking a live look at Naples, Florida right now. This is well down the coast from where Hurricane Helene is expected to make landfall up north in Florida's Big Bend region near Tallahassee. As you can see here, several people are on the boardwalk there in Naples amid the threat of possible 20 feet in storm surge. They had near 70-mile-an-hour winds as far south as Naples earlier today, the ocean churning all along the Gulf, and there are reports of flooding over on the southeast coast on the Carolinas as well. Alex is back. Alex, shout out to the Florida State men's cross-country team. They are here in Madison for their meet tomorrow. I know a lot of them are worried about what's going on back home. Our thoughts are with them as they try to focus on their meet, but also on their safety of all their friends back in Tallahassee. That is kind of close to where this is going to make landfall, right?
Yes, it is. Friends, folks from the First Warn Weather Team, too, our thoughts are with you as a very major, if not catastrophic, hurricane about ready to make landfall this evening in Florida's Big Bend here over the course of the next couple hours. It's a high-end Category 3 hurricane. Looking at some of the latest weather models, there still is some conversation, too, amongst the National Hurricane Center. It could very well make landfall as a Category 4 storm. This is one of the larger sized hurricane, meaning from west to east across, that you can get in the eastern Gulf of Mexico as well. A wider hurricane typically means a strong storm surge potential, and in the Big Bend they could be looking at a storm surge, get this, of upwards of 20 feet as that storm races now off towards the northeast at 23 miles per hour. So it's accelerating quickly. When it accelerates quickly, that means the winds can penetrate inland further, meaning those strong winds going up into Georgia, the eastern portion of Alabama, even into the Carolinas, not going to be out of the question until finally Helene meanders into the Ohio River Valley and then weakens. Our effects of Helene likely will stay south. We'll enjoy a beautiful weekend, dry temperatures in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. Tonight, let's plan it. Gorgeous. This is basically a copy and paste from pretty much every day this week as we slip down into the 60s. Jacob will be here tonight for the 10 o'clock newscast, and I'll be here in just a couple moments at 6. As we wake up tomorrow morning, 50s, we go all the way up into the mid to upper 70s. We'll have plentiful sunshine on Friday, and then we dip back down into the mid-50s as well. Now, you might be wondering, rain, Alex, what's the latest on our rainfall forecast? Now, we've gone from basically nothing up to 5 inches in Madison. That brings our yearly total rate now almost a foot above normal just because of last weekend's plentiful rainfall. But it didn't really put a dent in the drought, unfortunately. Still abnormally dry to moderate drought conditions across all of southern Wisconsin, and the effects of Helene, unfortunately, not going to make much in the way of an impact for us. Maybe an isolated shower over towards Milwaukee. The one impact we will for sure see from Helene, northeasterly winds and a bit on the breezy side this weekend that will likely make things feel quite nice over the weekend with temperatures up near 80. We've got the winds from the northeast Saturday going on into Sunday. Monday, we got one more nice warm day, and then temperatures cool down behind a cold front, but really just staying dry. Get your QR code out here, well, I should say get your phone out, scan the QR code so you can be just like Griff here from Whitewater showing this beautiful sunset. This is a great way to get those weather photos here on air in southern Wisconsin. 2 incidents along the Beltline south there. Look at that, 12 eastbound right now at 10 miles per hour. So if you're heading from west to east, be prepared. It's going to be a slow go right now on the southern portion of the Beltline heading towards the east. No problems northbound and southbound near Janesville at 70 miles per hour and 70 miles per hour up near the Dells. Beautiful evening, beautiful weekend. Take the car for a spin.
All right, Alex, thank you. Football season means bowl games, and that means the Rose Parade. A look at how the rush for the Roses is already on out in Pasadena. That's next at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
4 years ago, in this alley, rioters threw a brick at my face and knocked out my teeth. Why? Because I was a police officer. And what did Kamala Harris do? While America's cities were burning, Kamala was defending peaceful protest. She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding our police, making us all less safe. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Right now, we're running our 60-60-60 sale. So when you purchase your new concrete coating, you get a $60 Visa gift card plus either 60% off installation or 60-month no-interest financing. This is one of our best deals of the year, so visit our website or call the number for your new floor today.
Leave the gate open, and it's chaos. Biden and Kamala opened America's gate, abandoned the Border Patrol. In came over 8 million unvetted illegals and a fentanyl crisis endangering families.
Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after spending 26 years as a Navy SEAL, I'll do anything to protect your grandchildren and mine. I know how to defend this country. So let's secure the border and save America. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Thousands of our heroes face the difficult choice between keeping their heat and power on or facing homelessness. 21,000 Wisconsin veterans are living below the poverty line. Wisconsin loses 3 veterans to suicide every week. Together, our mission is to provide all struggling Wisconsin veterans with a critical survival safety net. You can make a real difference by providing a donation to the Wisconsin Heat and Housing for Heroes initiative.
Create your perfect room for entertaining, relaxing, and more with patio enclosures. Right now, get 25% off your sunroom. Plus, enjoy exceptional financing. Call today.
Patio enclosures.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. Today, our retirement savings account is safe because we made the switch. We had Medicare Advantage, but we'd seen too many friends give up the things they love due to unexpected medical expenses. They thought their plan was good enough, but it didn't help when they needed it most. We found a better way with a Medicare supplement insurance plan from WPS. No worries, no hassles, no networks. Our time and our money are better spent here.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
Welcome back. Out in California, the rush to complete floats for the world-famous Pasadena Tournament of Roses Parade is on. Even with a few months until the actual event still, Jasmine Veal takes a look at the scenes behind the scenes.
There is no job too small or big for workers inside the Suzuka warehouse.
We're going up.
22-year-old Alex Goodman is one of the dozens of employees with Artistic Entertainment Services rushing to meet a very important deadline.
Shooting this stuff on. Yeah, it's go time for us.
He is helping build 15 of the floats for Pasadena's long-running Rose Parade.
It's here, especially with more floats this year than we had in previous years. We're already busy. First batch of floats is going to be going out here in a month or so.
This is the San Diego Zoo. This one here is the UPS stores.
AES owner Craig Bujaski took on more floats this year after one of the other float builders lost their parade authorization. He's trying to finish and move several of these floats out of the warehouse by the end of October, but it takes time before they can be tucked away beneath flowers and seeds.
Louisiana has a house on it, and it's actually sitting on top of a large crocodile, and the crocodile will be animated. Here's the tail.
Craig has been building floats for the Rose Parade for decades, since the 1980s. And once again, his floats and many others will be rolling down Orange Grove Boulevard to Colorado, 8 a.m. on January 1st.
Yeah, it's cool to see it on TV. It's cool to be a part of it. Something that I grew up watching, and now I get to be hands-on with almost each and every float.
As millions of people around the world will also watch as the floats glide past on New Year's Day. But not nearly as many see the work. It goes into transforming these artistic visions into reality. In Azusa, Jasmine Veal, KCAL News.
So the Rose Bowl this year is a playoff quarterfinal to be played January 1st, 4 p.m. Central Time. And the 136th now Tournament of Roses Parade is that morning. That'll be 10 a.m. Central Time. We'll have a final check of your first warn forecast when we come back.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished? There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need, because they're a part of them, because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Not everyone knows us, but in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana, we are famous in our field. As a Sloan's technician, customer service is our specialty, whether you come to see us or we come to you. We are in the business of supporting your business, and we are highly trained to work on your John Deere equipment. At Sloan's, our loyalty lies with you. We depend on you, and we are proud to serve you. When it comes to service, you can count on us. Remember, think Sloan's first.
Fall is just around the corner. Let the experts at Feldco get your home ready for the cooler temps ahead. Right now, buy one window, get one free, plus no interest for 3 years. It's the perfect time to make valuable upgrades to your home and save more money in the process. Our custom windows are built in the U.S. to the highest standards and made to withstand the harsh Midwest weather. Buy one, get one free ends Monday. Hurry. Call now.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Brian Stiles said he's proud of his extreme record. So why is he lying about it? Stiles said he was proud to be part of a group pushing to gut Social Security and Medicare, that he proudly supports abortion bans. And Brian Stiles said he's proud to be backed by extremists pushing a total ban nationwide. Peter Barca's backed by police, firefighters, and unions because Peter puts Wisconsin first, no matter the party, and that's something to be proud of.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Undaunted, not intimidated or discouraged by difficulty, danger, or disappointment. This time of year, Undaunted is our game. A fierce, game-wrecking, relentless brand of baseball. And it all comes alive in October. Champagne's dry, the division crown is home, but we're not satisfied. This October, get ready to write our crew into the history books.
Coming up tonight on the CBS Evening News, Hurricane Helene strengthens into what forecasters are calling a once-in-a-generation storm, and it's set to make landfall tonight. What you need to know is tens of millions of Americans brace for potentially record flooding and deadly landslides. That and more headlines tonight right here on the CBS Evening News.
Now it's that time of the year again where the coolest harvests are on display. One man in Michigan takes that to the next level. Dan Fleeser grows 1,000 pumpkins right in his front yard. Fleeser may also be growing a record breaker that's currently weighing in at over a ton. Wow. He says he spends hours tending to these pumpkins, making sure they're in tip-top shape, but says it is all worth it. Alex rejoins us now. We're, of course, talking about our forecast, but you're also keeping a close eye on Helene.
Yeah, we've been watching Helene for the past couple of days. Really been tracking it since last weekend when there was that potential for that tropical system to make it into the Gulf. And while that materialized with all of our weather models, our friends and thoughts are with those in Florida right now. Helene likely, though, thank goodness, is going to stay to the south of our area, not really impacting us too much other than just having some winds coming in out of the north and from the east. For the most part, being dry this week. And then we got cooler weather on the way. I've been saying this a while, a little pampered. Temperatures in the upper 70s to right around 80 this weekend. That's been the mode for much of September, way above normal. And while even those temperatures next week after a cold front Monday night, upper 60s, that's not too bad. That's where we should be for this time of year.
And as we saw on CBS Evening News, we'll have extensive coverage of Helene coming up next, and then we'll be back in 30 minutes for news.